So, as a, I don't know, great idea, great flash of whatever, we came up with this idea about trying to recount our our first dates and from our own viewpoints. So, um, and then hopefully we can splice these together and kind of see what the differences were between the series of events that culminated for us to get to the point we're at now. So, uh, this is my first one, talking about our first date. Um, Generally, we started out on Tinder. At the time, I had gone through a breakup with a, very serious girlfriend, and it didn't end well. And I'll be dead honest with you, I was pretty scared about going back into the dating pool, as it was. Um, the uh, site that was initially recommended to me was Plenty of Fish, and that didn't go well. I didn't really find a lot of potentials on there, and one of the things I kept running into is women that didn't really quite meet the characteristics or the personality traits that I was really looking for. I wanted someone that was smart and witty and funny and positive and um, dressed nice and looked beautiful and could carry herself with class and dignity and um, was a good recipient for the chivalry that I like to try to bestow upon the people in my life. Nothing worse than giving of yourself in a chivalrous way and then not having it reciprocated. Um, so, a friend of mine told me he was on Tinder, and I thought Tinder was a hookup site, and I'm definitely not about that. I'm not that kind of guy. So I took the leap and I said, well, you know what? I'll just go see how that works and see what it's all about. Well, on that site, I realized you have to do the swipe right thing to. I'm indicating the wrong direction right now. Swipe right to like somebody, and swipe left to um, if you don't, or you don't feel like it's a match. The only thing that was an issue though is that sometimes people didn't really have boilerplate information they needed to put in for what type of traits they have, things they're looking for in a spouse, mate, whatever you want to call that. Um, so the responses were varied, and then some people were obviously on there for the hookup aspect of it, and some were on there trying to date. And so I found that intriguing because, um, like I say, it kind of changed my mind about how all that worked. So I saw Zsavonne, her profile, and the things that drew me to her was one, she had eclectic hairstyles. I don't know what it was about that. I liked it. That she, um, in one it's kind of straight and in one it's kind of curly. But in all the pictures that she had a big smile. Um, I found that important to me. One time I had somebody ask, well, I asked somebody, I was like, well, why were you trying to contact me? And they were like, well, you had a smile in all your pictures. And it made me think about the fact, yeah, you subconsciously you do get drawn to somebody who smiles in all their pictures. I mean, I'm not trying to date a thug or, a homegirl, quote unquote, or hood rat, which I know is old vernacular, but I wasn't trying to find someone like that. And she had a silly picture up there too, which I liked that because I was like, okay, because I can be silly at times. And then she had a picture of her on top of her roof, and it was obvious to me that it was probably Habitat for Humanity. And I volunteered twice with Habitat for Humanity, and I even tried to go down and volunteer with them in Louisiana. So right after Katrina, so I swiped right, and sure enough, we were a match. I'm not sure if it came up and said I was a match first. I mean, if she tried to match me first or I tried to match her first, I don't know. I can't remember. So, um, but we spoke on the phone, and she was very, she was smart. She was witty. Um, we interacted well. She didn't, come off as trying to play games or anything like that, which I say that all the time. One of the reasons I hate dating is because of people playing games. I can't stand when people play games. I'm at the point in my time in my life where I feel confident with who I am, and I want a woman in my life who feels confident with who she is, where she doesn't need to worry about, putting up a facade, or, oh, I don't want to show you I like you, or let me keep this quiet, or I don't want any of that. I just want someone who, knows what they want in a relationship, and she really exuded that on the phone. So then we went on our first date. We decided we would get together and go to the fountain around near the Oyster Point City Center area. I always get to, I try to always be on time. I have a tendency to get to places early, and on first dates I always get there early because I usually try to tell somebody what I'm going to be wearing, so that way they can look for me, because I know it's got to be very intimidating for a woman to go to a first date and wonder, well, is this guy a lunatic? Does he look crazy? Or where is he meeting me at? And is he trying to, I don't know. Who knows? I don't even want to go down that road and think about any of that. But so we met. I sat and waited, and she came from behind me, and I thought I was going to see her walk around the fountain to me, but I didn't. She just kind of popped up from behind me. She had mentioned that she was a little taller, but still a little shorter than me. So, but I stood up and I greeted her. We hugged, and we walked around, and she had that great smile and giggle that she's always got. That kind of. I can't do it, but she does an incredible job of it. We walked around and we talked about all kinds of things. We talked about dogs. There was somebody had a dog, and it was a kind of little yippy kind of little dog. I think it was. I'm trying to remember the details of that, but I can't right now. I guess I should have, like, the day after. But the important thing, though, was that we saw a little setup where you could win little Halloween themed prizes, and if you participated, you automatically got a pumpkin. Well, I needed a pumpkin. I wanted to carve a pumpkin for Halloween, which, spoiler alert, I never carved it. But we hung out, played some games there, played like this putt-putt game. I did my little putt-putt experience, then I held her purse while she did hers, and we both won, so we both got matching. They're like little mason jars that have like Halloween decorations on them. They have like a straw that comes through it, so it's really convenient. I haven't used mine, but one time she took a picture and I saw hers was on her desk, and it made me think I should probably have mine on my desk too, because it's a good reminder of her, but I have it in my house. Then we picked up a pumpkin, and we decided to go ahead and go to Park Lane. The Cove. So we went into the Cove, which is a little restaurant nearby. We went in there for a little bit. I think I had a beer, maybe. We might have split some food, because it was around lunchtime. I think we split I had like a tuna ahi something appetizer. Anyway, I can't remember. I'm not really a food-based person. I like food, but I don't really make a big deal out of food. Like, I've got to have like the best food out there. And then we were talking about whiskey and my love for whiskey, and we talked about bourbon barrel stouts. And so then the recommendation came about going to Park Lane. Now, I mean, I'm a huge fan of Park Lane because they have these Scotch samplers. And I said they have a bourbon barrel stout there, and she said she'd be interested in going. And so we got in our separate cars and we went to Park Lane, and I sweet talked the guy into getting us scotches that were beyond what you're supposed to have. I think you're only supposed to have 12-year-old scotch or younger. I talked him into letting me get one 14-year and one 18-year scotch, and she tried one of the bourbon barrel stouts there, and she liked it. But the main thing was we talked, and I mean, and we talked, and we laughed, and we talked, and I think it was approaching, I want to say like 6 or 7 at that time, and so we decided probably good for us to go ahead and call it a night, because it just isn't. It's not common to have a first date that lasts as long as it did. Considering we caught up at around 11:30, might have been 12 o'clock, and this is 6, 7 o'clock in the evening. You're talking about 7 hour date, maybe 8. I think it was, but that kind of led to our hashtag. Let's see if it shows up. Epic dates. That's right. We had 1,000 of these. Well, I feel like 1,000, but we have all these epic dates, and we keep talking about it. It's like a recurring theme with us. But that was the start of the epic dates. So I'm looking forward to talking about the next date on the next video. But anyway, it's been fun recounting this one.